African heads of state and government will gather in Addis Ababa this weekend for the 39th ordinary session of the African Union Assembly at a time of significant political weight for both the continent and the global system. The summit unfolds amid increasing global fragmentation, weakening multilateral cooperation, rising conflicts, mounting debt pressures and intensifying climate challenges. Although this year's official AU theme focuses on water, discussions are expected to be heavily shaped by peace and security concerns, given ongoing regional instability, conflicts and fragile political transitions across Africa. To help us assess the progress made on last year's reparations theme and explore what lies ahead, we're joined now by Benjamin Anyagree Aziginaateeg, who is CEO of the African Continental Union Consult Ghana chapter. Benjamin, thank you for joining us. It's always great having these conversations with you. How are you on this particular day?
Oh, doing very well. And greetings to your audience.
Great. Let's start here. What is your reaction to the African Union's 2026 summit, Justice for Africans and People of African Descent Through Reparations, as a theme, and particularly its focus on water alongside peace and security?
Yeah, very importantly, water is life. Water is very essential in every aspect of life. And we know that potable water and then access to water contributes to so many things. And also, we've been told that the Third World War may be fought on the basis of water. But here's a case in some countries, water is becoming scarce, and pollution of water bodies, is ongoing in some areas due to illegal mining and so on and so forth. And of course, we have to endorse the new Africa Water Vision 2063, to ensure that water, sanitation, and hygiene is prioritized in many African states. And in Africa, we have about 480 million people not having access to potable water. We have more than 700 million people not having access to clean hygiene and also sanitation, about over 800 people. And so it is very important we look at it, and African scientists should also go into research, because we have so many rivers, water bodies like the Congo Basin, which could be explored, to service the continent. Thank you.
How important is it that the theme of water or the agenda of water gets connected to one of peace and security on our continent?
Now, it's very important. Without water is very essential, like I said. And if you don't have clean water, it becomes a serious problem for everybody on the continent. And we have so many people in the rural areas who have no access to potable water, and that becomes a security threat to human survival, which must be looked at. And I hope the AU this time around will not just bring out a team and also after that go and relax over it, but pursue it in action.
From Ghana's perspective and across West Africa as a region generally, how severe is the current water situation, especially when it comes to the political, environmental or infrastructure challenges, and which ones would be most pressing there?
Yeah, like I said earlier on, what the challenge is now is based on how we can manage our water bodies. Many of the water bodies are being polluted by illegal mining, which government, for instance, in Ghana is fighting against. and areas that are supposed to be preserved to protect these water bodies have been even encroached for estate development and so on and so forth. So it is something that must be critically looked at based on institutional policy implementations. Yeah.
Yeah. So let's look back then now, Benjamin, on 2025, the AU's 2025 theme titled Justice for Africans and People of African Descent Through Reparations. How satisfied are you with the tangible progress made on this, particularly as it pertains to the restitution of cultural artifacts looted during colonial rule, including those taken from the Ashanti Kingdom?
Yeah, it is very important because I'm not satisfied with the fact that not all the artifacts have been brought back. And if they were stolen from us, why did they take them away? They took them just because they wanted to go and study and find out how those things came about. They should have finished studying those ones. And so it is very important that those artifacts are returned because they were forcefully taken away from Africa.
What are those gaps then that still exist that need to be addressed on that reparations agenda, whether it's financial, symbolic, legal, or institutional, that African states and civil society should prioritize going forward?
Yeah, it's important to note also that the reparation question, one, we'll have to ask ourselves the damage done to Africa in terms of if you want to look at it from the financial point of view, is something that can never be paid in cash. You know, you can't quantify the brutalities that they served on the African people. It can never be measured. It can never be measured. And so if they make an attempt to say we want to look at it, in terms of it and to quantify the money, it is very difficult. We all know. And they keep on saying 50 million of Africans died of disease, and so who gave that figure, keep on saying is something that we don't understand. It could even be more, be triple that figure. And we all know about 17 million people died under King Leopold. Villages were burned, men whipped with women and children taken hostage, mass executions and so on, sexual violence, and men were castrated. It was something like an organized crime and violence against Africa. And so if you want to look at it from the way we've been discussing in terms of finances, it's something that will be difficult. What we have to begin to look at is the recognition and respect of the African sovereign states and also Africa's seat at the UN.
Yeah.
Shouldn't be a question to be debated about, And so we have to look at this. And also the financial arrangements with the IMF and the World Bank. The conditionalities themselves resembles any type of slavery arrangement on the African people, because aside of that too, you look at the element of looting African natural resources by external forces and so on with impunity, and even targeting to kill African leaders who are defending their sovereign resources. Like we keep on referring to what is happening in the Sahel. They are defending their resources and they're becoming something like targets. And so we have to look at all these are all questions that border on on reparations, And that is the continuation of neocolonialism. If you look at the features of colonial slavery, colonialism, and neocolonialism, they are all compounded in what we are saying harmed the continent in the past, and we're looking for reparation.
Right. Thank you so much, Benjamin. We'll leave it there for today, and we appreciate your insights.
Thank you very much. And to say our president is doing very well in terms of the question of reparation, he's been very focused, he's been very astute, he's been resolute, and everywhere he speaks about the question of reparation, and we all have to come together in terms of Africans to support. It's something that was deliberately done. It's a crime. It's a crime. It's a crime against humanity, which must be looked at. Thank you.
Great, thank you so much there. Benjamin Anyagree Aziginaateeg, CEO of the African Continental Union Consult Ghana chapter, ending that chat on that note of Ghanaian President John Dramani Mahama, who has positioned himself as an advocate, a leader when it comes to reparations for Africa, having reportedly called for slavery and colonialization to be declared crimes against humanity at the UN General Assembly.